Okay. She's 8 months old. Yeah. Almost on the nose, actually. She turned 8 months last week. Last week, we got our Nespresso order, thankfully, which means that I have my thoughts again, which is a win, you know? I love to see it. I love to see it. How's everyone doing? How's everyone's team doing? All that jazz. I gotta lose money before my stockings down. All that jazz. Start the car, now on baseball, where the gym is cold and the piano's hot. I don't know if you guys saw it, they dropped the price of this book. I'm kind of shocked. I don't think I've ever seen it that cheap. Now I notice those kinds of things. I didn't used to notice that kind of stuff. There's a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl and all that Are you guys ready to get into the meat of the book today? On Saturday, all we did was read the prologue. Today, we get into the book. You know what? Same, Anya. Isn't that weird? That's usually very unusual for me, but same. Mr. Cellophane. Ooh. Mr. Cellophane. Put up in my name. Because you look right through me. Walk right by me. No, I'm there. What a bummer for him, though, right? What a life. Harsh. Way harsh. Oh, I need to get my glasses. It is a little harsh, though, right? I mean, like, gosh. Poor guy. I got my first Tamagotchi. Oh, did you really? I have a friend who collects them. It was a big thing when I was younger than you, Isabel. In my opinion, Catherine Zeta-Jones is in memory. I gotta say, Anya, good morning, Brittany. I have to say, I think prior to the most recent Wicked movie, I thought that the Chicago movie adaptation, was the best film adaptation of a musical made in my lifetime. I believe that. Driving zombie typing, but anyways, hello. Do you, those of you who are musical theater people, do you agree? Until last year when Wicked came out, I really think that Chicago was the best in my lifetime made. We're not talking about Sound of Music. We're not talking about Grease. We're not talking about things like that. I'm talking about in my, like when I was alive, I think Chicago was the best movie made from a musical until last year. So, yeah. I guess, Anya, the point of me saying that was, I don't disagree with you, right? I mean, it was so well done. How can you need anything else, kind of, right? Because there are some where you're like, oh, wow, don't do that. You know what I mean? And there are some musicals that I love, and then I go see the movie and I'm like, you know? White Christmas and Music Man. I mean, White Christmas and Music Man are classics, but those were not made in our lifetime. Be real with us right now. I mean, neither of us were born when those were made. So classic for sure, phenomenal for sure, not made in our lifetime. So, you know, different. I mean, all the movie musicals of the first half of the last century, like everything that was made in the 30s, 40s, 50s, same, Nikki, same, big time, you know. I was raised completely on all the musicals of the 30s, 40s, and 50s, a little bit of the 60s and 70s, but less so. Hey, Naisa. And then that's just how we were raised, you know what I mean? Like Shirley Temple movies, Mickey and Judy putting on a show in your backyard, all of the classic golden age musicals. And then the newer movies were just not as good until Chicago. I was a huge Shirley Temple kid. Oh, I know. She's doing such a good job these days, right, Brittany? She sleeps almost the beginning of every book club now. Love to see it. I'm already teaching her Shirley Temple songs, Naisa. Just so you know, I've already started to teach them to her. And when I was a nanny, I taught my nanny kids the spinach song. You guys know the spinach song? And then stuff like that. Stuff like that. Yes, we sing all the songs. There's some videos I have of her and I singing songs together. I mean, obviously she can't sing for real yet, but she tries. So, she tries. Let's get this on the tripod here. The spinach song. I also taught her Animal Crackers, Just Around the Corner. What other ones have I taught her? Gosh, there's so many good ones. When I Grow Up, do you guys know that one? When I grow up in a year or 2 or 3. She's getting regular with book club again, I know, right? Yeah, you know what? She's not so bad with overnight sleep right now. She wakes up 3 times, but she's pretty quick to go back to sleep if I feed her, so it's not so bad anymore. She's not waking up every hour anymore, so we've extended. She usually sleeps in like 3 or 4 hour stints now, so it's getting better, you know? Not the worst, but yeah, I feel like she'll have a perfect pitch when she gets older. You know, she does have pretty good mimic abilities. That's something that my mom used to say when I was a kid. Not necessarily that I have perfect pitch, because I don't think I have perfect pitch. I think I have what's called relative pitch, which is not that I can do what Charlie Pluth can do. Do you guys know who Charlie Pluth is? You know how he can like hear any tone and find it on the piano? I can't necessarily do that. I can find them eventually, but not immediately. So I don't have perfect pitch, but I have what's called relative pitch, which means that if I hear something, I can copy it perfectly without missing it, which when I was a kid, I thought everybody could do. I did not know that that was not an everybody thing. He does. He amazes me as well. And yeah, I'm always like, what are you doing, bro? It's very cool what he can do. And anyone who has that ability, it's very cool. I do not have that ability, let's be very clear. But my relative pitch is very good. So pretty much I'm very rarely off key, and if I'm off key, it usually means I'm sick and I can't control my muscles as well. That's usually what it means, because I can hear when something is off pitch even just slightly, and I know how to correct it muscularly, you know? I don't think that's even a word, but you know what I mean. I think she also has that mimic ability, which is the same reason why I can do so many voices. And everyone's always like, oh, can you do, I know some people who are tone deaf, Jen. It's so weird. When I was a kid, I did not know that was a thing, because my family is musicians. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. Oh no, knots on your vocal cords. Oh, that's really sad, Nikki. I'm sorry. I've known some musicians who've had that. But what was I gonna say? People always ask me, you know, like I'll do a voice, right? pick a voice, any voice, it doesn't matter which voice. And then they'll say, oh, but can you do a Scottish accent? And I'm like, actually, I can't just do a Scottish accent off the top of my head. And the reason is I don't have a call for it in my mind. Like, the reason it's so easy for me to mimic Julie Andrews is because I can hear her in my mind. So I have like a catchphrase. So if anyone says like, oh, do a posh British accent, in my brain I go, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun, you know, and then I can hear it and I can mimic that, right? Because I can hear that in my brain. Or if someone says, do a Cockney British accent, I can hear Eliza Doolittle in my head from My Fair Lady. So in my head, when someone says do a Cockney accent, I hear, all I want is a room somewhere. And so then I can do that because that's what I hear in my mind. Same with something like if someone says do a princess voice, I have a whole plethora of different Disney princesses logged in my mind to mimic those voices. Some of the voices we do for these books I made up, like Mother Goose, she's kind of an amalgamation of all the different whatever things, you know, yada yada, but I have to hear it in my head to be able to mimic it. So when someone says do a Scottish accent off the top of my head, the only thing I can really think of is Scrooge McDuck, and I'm not very good at a Scrooge McDuck, so I can't really copy it. But so that's how kind of part of how relative pitch works, is that you can kind of hear it in your mind ahead of time and copy it, you know, but I do not have perfect pitch, which is such a bummer. I would have loved to. That would have been so cool. It is not the reality of my life. But what is the reality of our life is What is the reality of our lives? Okay. Lives. What is the reality of our lives with someone who speaks the English language natively is that we are reading A Grim Warning. On Saturday, we read the prologue. Today, we dig into the meat of the book. And we're gonna get into it today. We speak English. We try, Brittany. We sure do try. I don't know, I think being able to tap into real world examples is, I appreciate that. I mean, I think it's cool. I think the people who can just do any of them blanketly, it's pretty cool. Like when we were visiting Scotland, I was able to do a Scottish accent because I was hearing it every day, but like I don't hear it anymore, and it's not logged in my brain for some reason. I don't know why it didn't log. Hi Kaya, I'm all right. How are you? I don't know why the Scottish accent just like didn't create a groove in my brain to stay. I don't know why, actually. I have no idea. And I don't have an explanation for that. But anyway, let's go ahead and read chapter 1 today. We're starting off brand new. Chapter 1 is called An Educational Opportunity. It was midnight, and only one light was on in all the homes on Sycamore Drive. In the second-story window of Dr. Robert Gordon's house, there was a shadow that moved back and forth. It was his stepson, Connor Bailey, pacing around his bedroom. He had known for months that he was going to Europe, but he waited until the night before the departure to pack. Sounds like Connor. Reruns of a dramatic television show set in outer space did nothing to stop his procrastination. There was just something about a female captain piloting her crew away from an evil alien race that he could not take his eyes off of. But looking up at his clock, he realized he only had 7 hours before he needed to be at the airport, and that forced him to turn the television off and focus on packing. Let me think, Connor said to himself. I'll be in Germany for 3 days, so I should probably bring 12 pairs of socks. And then he confidently nodded and tossed a dozen pairs of socks into his suitcase. You never know, there could be like a lot of puddles in Europe. Connor retrieved 10 or so pairs of underwear from his dresser and laid them out on his bed. It was more than he needed, but per a traumatizing sleepover in kindergarten that ended in a wet bed, Connor had been taught to always generously pack underwear. Okay, well, I think I have everything, Connor said, and he counted all the items in his suitcase. I've got 7 t-shirts, 4 sweaters, my lucky rock, 2 scarves, my other lucky rock, underwear, socks, pajamas, my lucky poker chip, and my toothbrush. He looked around his room, wondering what else a kid could need in Europe. Oh, pants, he said, thankful that he remembered that. I need pants, yeah.
And once he had added the missing and vital articles to his suitcase, Connor sat on the edge of his bed and he took a deep breath. A big, boyish smile came to his face. He couldn't help it. He really was excited. And at the end of the previous school year, Connor's principal, Mrs. Peters, had called him into her office and presented him with a very exciting opportunity. I mean, I'm curious, how many puddles does Germany have? Honestly, not that many. Like, we went to Germany. I don't remember stepping in very many puddles. I definitely wasn't changing my socks abnormally often. Germany is fine, well kept. Oh, did you guys see our new leaf? This one just opened yesterday. This is a brand new leaf. That's why it's so much brighter than these other ones. These are the older leaves. New leaf, old leaf, new leaf. So that's nice. Am I in trouble? Connor had said when he sat down in front of her desk. Mr. Bailey, why do you ask me that every time I call you into my office? She said, eyeing him over the top of her glasses. Sorry, old habits die hard, I guess, he shrugged. I've called you in here for 2 reasons, Mrs. Peters said. First, I was wondering how Alex is acclimating to her new school in... Where is her new school again? Vermont? Connor gulped. Ooh. His eyes grew very big. He said. Sometimes he forgot the lie his family had told us about his sister going to a new school. She's doing great. She's never been happier. Mrs. Peters bit her lip and nodded, almost disappointed to hear this. Oh, well, that's wonderful for her. Good for her, she said. Although sometimes I selfishly do wish she would move back and be one of our students again. Your mother was telling me about all the educational programs they offer there, so I'm sure she's enjoying them. Yeah, no, she sure is, Connor said, and he looked to his left to avoid eye contact. And Alex always loved trees and maple syrup, so Vermont really suits her. I see, Mrs. Peters said, squinting. And she's staying with your grandmother? Is that correct? Oh, yeah, she's still with Grandma, who also loves trees and maple syrup. It's a family trait, I guess. I don't know, Connor said, and then he looked to the right. He panicked for a second when he couldn't remember which direction people tended to look when they were lying. He'd seen a special about it on television. All right, well, give her my warmest regards, and please do tell her to visit next time she's in town, Mrs. Peters said. Oh, I will, Connor said, relieved to be changing the subject. All right, well, now on to the second reason that I called you in today. Mrs. Peters sat up extra straight in her seat, and she slid a pamphlet across her desk. I have just heard very exciting news from an old colleague of mine who teaches English in Frankfurt, Germany. Apparently, the University of Berlin has uncovered a time capsule that belonged to the Brothers Grimm. I'm assuming you know who they are. Remember them from my lesson in the 6th grade? Are you kidding? My grandma knew them, Connor said. Excuse me? Mrs. Peters asked, and Connor just stared at her for a moment, mortified by his carelessness. I mean, yep, oh, yeah, nope, I remember, Connor tried to cover. Those are the fairy tale guys, right? My grandma used to read us their stories. Indeed, Mrs. Peters said with a smile. She'd grown so used to Connor's strange outbursts that she didn't question this one for a second. Well, according to the University of Berlin, 3 brand new fairy tales were discovered in the capsule. Oh my god, that's amazing, Connor said, genuinely excited to hear this. He knew his sister, too, would be thrilled. I agree, Mrs. Peters said. And even better, the University of Berlin is planning a big event to reveal the stories. They're going to read them to the public for the first time this coming September, 3 weeks into the next school year, at St. Matthias Kirchhoff Cemetery, where the Brothers Grimm are buried. All great things, Connor said. What does this have to do with me? Well, since you've become a bit of a Grimm yourself, Connor awkwardly laughed and looked off to his left again. She had no idea how close to home this compliment really was. I thought you might be interested in coming on the trip I'm planning. Mrs. Peters slid the pamphlet even closer to Connor. I've decided to invite a few select students, such as yourself, students who have proven to be passionate about writing and storytelling, to venture with me to Berlin and be among the crowd that hears those stories for the first time. Connor picked up the pamphlet and stared down at it with an open mouth. That sounds awesome. He flipped it open and he looked at all the attractions the city of Berlin had to offer. Can we check out these nightclubs too? No, unfortunately missing more than a week of school for any trip is frowned upon by the district, so no nightclubs, I'm afraid. We'll only be there for 3 days. I thought this might be an opportunity you wouldn't want to miss. Mrs. Peters said that with a confident smile. I feel like a piece of history is there waiting for us, Connor. Connor's smile faded when his eyes fell to the bottom of the pamphlet. He saw how much this trip would cost. This is a is a pricey educational trip, Connor said. Well, travel is never cheap, I'm afraid, Mrs. Peters said, but there are many school fundraisers that I can get you information about. Oh, wait, I keep forgetting. My mom just married a doctor. We're not poor anymore, Connor said, and his smile returned. But wait, does that mean I'm still poor? I have to ask them about that. There's so much to this stepson thing that I really haven't figured out yet. Mrs. Peters raised her eyebrow and blinked twice, not sure what to tell him about that. You know, that's a conversation you're going to have with them, but my office number's on the bottom of the pamphlet if you need help convincing them, she said with a quick wink. Thanks, Mrs. Peters, Connor said. Who else have you asked? Only a handful of students, Mrs. Peters said. I've learned the hard way that bringing more than 6 students with one chaperone can lead to a scene out of Lord of the Flies. Oh, I understand that, Connor said. He couldn't get the image out of his head of the tribal 6th graders tying Mrs. Peters to a spit and roasting her over a fire. But Bree Campbell has signed up, Mrs. Peters said. I believe she's in Miss York's English class with you, is that right? I know, right? Now you say he's so funny. He's like, wait, we're not poor anymore. Wait, am I still poor? Connor could feel his heart rate rising. His cheeks went red, and he pursed his lips to hide a smile. Oh, good, he said softly, while his voice inside was screaming. It was saying, oh my gosh, Bree Campbell's going to Germany. That's amazing. That's the best news I've ever heard. Yes, she's quite a talented writer herself. I imagine the two of you will get along nicely, Mrs. Peters said, oblivious to the increase in Connor's pulse. I hope you'll be able to join us, but you should head back to class now. Connor nodded as he got to his feet, and he continued nodding all the way back to biology class. He didn't understand why the room always seemed to get warmer every time he saw or heard some mention of Bree Campbell. He wasn't even sure how he felt about her, but for whatever reason, Connor looked forward to seeing her around, and he really wanted her to like him. He couldn't explain it no matter how much thought he gave it, but one thing was certain. Connor had to go to Germany. Telling his mom and his stepdad after school went about as well as Connor could have imagined. It's a really great educational opportunity, Connor stressed. Germany's a really super smart place with like a lot of history. I think that some kind of war happened there at some point. I don't know. Can I go? Can I please go? Charlotte and Bob sat around the couch in front of him, looking over the pamphlet. They had both just gotten home from work at the children's hospital, and they hadn't even had time to change out of their scrubs before they were attacked by a very enthusiastic Connor. This does seem like a great trip, Connor said. Your dad would have been so excited to hear about the Brothers Grimm time capsule. I know. Which is why I really need to go so I can experience this for all of us. Please, can I go, please? Connor asked, bouncing a little in hops. Whenever Connor asked them for something, he acted like a hyperactive chihuahua. They only hesitated for a second, but Connor felt like it was an hour. Oh, come on. Alex gets to live in another dimension, but I can't even go on a school trip to Germany? You can absolutely go, Charlotte said. Yes, Connor said, throwing both hands into the air. But you're going to have to pay for it, Charlotte added quickly. Connor's hands instantly fell and his excitement deflated like a crashed hot air balloon. I'm 13 years old. I can't really afford a trip to Europe. True, but ever since we moved into Bob's house, you've been getting an allowance and helping out around the house, and your 14th birthday will be here before you know it, Charlotte said as she did the math in her head. If you add all of those things together with a little fundraising at school, you will be able to afford half of it, Connor said. He'd already done every possible math equation related to any parental scenario he thought they might throw his way. So I'll be able to get there, but I won't be able to come home. Bob looked down at the pamphlet and shrugged. Charlotte, what if we meet him halfway? This is a really great opportunity. Besides, he's always been such a great kid. It couldn't hurt to just treat him a little, right? Thanks, Bob. Mom, can you listen to your husband, please? Connor said and gestured toward him like he was directing a plane into a terminal. Charlotte humored the idea for a moment. All right, well, that's fine by me, she said. If you earn half and show us that this trip is really something you want, we'll give you the other half. Do we have a deal? Connor wiggled from all the excitement building up inside of him. Oh, thank you, he said, and he shook both their hands. Pleasure doing business with you. Pleasure doing business with you. And so after 4 months of saving his allowance, birthday money, and taking part in school fundraisers to sell candy, baked goods, and hideous pottery, which Charlotte and Bob bought most of, Connor had earned his half of the trip and was ready for Germany. Okay, remind me later, I want to talk about the scam that is school fundraisers because, as they just pointed out, usually the parents buy most of the junk. Why don't we just pay for the stuff? I mean, these fundraisers are an absolute joke. Don't make my kid peddle stuff. I'll just give you the money if we can. If we can't, then we can't. But if we can, I don't want your stupid pottery. I don't want your weird tasting popcorn, and I don't want weird candles, okay? I want to buy my own candles. I want to pick the candles I like from the stores I like. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I mean, if the parents are going to pay the money for the stuff anyway, why not just send the kid where they're going? I mean, I just can't. I'd like to teach them to work and earn money in a better way. I feel like peddling stuff that they didn't make, it just feels like, I don't know. It always feels weird to me. I want to make them do chores to earn it. Exactly. It's like overpriced junk. I would much rather have them do things around the neighborhood. That's what I did. I worked for people all around the neighborhood. Like, I had a lot of people in my neighborhood who wanted scrapbooks for their kids, but they didn't know, like, they didn't have the time or the like creative ability to make scrapbooks. So I used to take all of the stuff for people like moms in the neighborhood and make them scrapbooks of their kids, and they'd pay me to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you can come up with ways to make money without having to peddle $30 tubs of cookie dough or whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That was my, it's always been my, yeah, community service is great. All that kind of stuff is great. They can definitely learn a work ethic. But that's my soapbox on it. Sure, paint Pokemon cards. I wouldn't be able to do that. I don't have that ability. The thing my niece has is a fun run. Oh, where you sponsor them for different races? That's different. I would do that. I would sponsor a kid for a race. Sure. Yeah, that feels different to me somehow. I don't want extra junk in my house. That's what it comes down to. I don't want your junk in my house from the school. No, I don't. Like, when I pass the Girl Scouts, I can't have their cookies anyway because they have sugar in them. I give the Girl Scouts $1 if I have cash on me or whatever like that, because I know they're out there trying their best. But I don't want your cookies. I can't eat them anyway. You know. Yeah, the parents have to do the work. Yeah, here high schoolers do 40 hours of community service. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. All right, anyway, that was my soapbox on fundraising. At the beginning of the week leading up to his departure, when Connor should have started packing, Bob walked into his bedroom with another surprise. He plopped down a very old and very dusty suitcase onto his stepson's bed. It was brown, and it was covered in stickers of famous locations and made Connor's bedroom smell like feet. Bob placed his hands on his hips and proudly looked down at the suitcase. Well, there it is, Bob said. There what is? Connor asked. Is it a coffin? No. This is the suitcase that I used during my own Euro trip after college. Bob petted the suitcase gently like it was an old dog. We've had some pretty good times together, this suitcase and I. Covered a lot of ground. I thought you could use it for Germany. Connor could not imagine taking this overseas. He was shocked that the suitcase wasn't instantly decaying like a mummy exposed to the elements after thousands of years. I don't know what to say, Bob, he said, trying to hide his reservations under a fake smile, but he couldn't refuse it after Bob helped make the trip happen. Oh, no need to thank me, Bob said, although a thank you was the furthest thing from Connor's mind. Just do me a favor and get her a sticker from Berlin, will you? It's a she? Connor asked. Oh, yes, her name is Betsy, Bob said as he headed out of his stepson's room. Enjoy her. Oh, I almost forgot. Her left buckle needs a good push to lock it, so just put your back into it and you'll be fine. Hey, Joanna. At the end of the week, Connor discovered exactly what Bob was talking about as he struggled to shut the suitcase with the new addition of pants. After 3 good pushes that almost threw out his back, he surrendered to Betsy. All right, maybe 6 pairs of socks, 4 t-shirts, 5 pairs of underwear, 2 sweaters, pajamas, my lucky poker chip, and a toothbrush, and only 1 lucky rock is going to be enough, Connor said, and he removed the excess items from his suitcase and finished packing. He was overdue for bed, but Connor wanted to stay awake just a little while longer. He wanted to feel the excitement as long as he could. Thinking about the trip to Germany had been a great way for Connor to ignore the other thoughts that he'd been having lately, and as he looked around his bedroom and listened to the absolute silence of the house, Connor could not fight off the loneliness that he had been suppressing. Something was missing from his life, and that something was his sister. Connor opened his bedroom window to break the silence around him. Sycamore Drive was just as quiet as the house and did little to comfort him. He gazed up at the stars in the night sky and wondered if Alex could see the same stars from where she was. Oh, that's amazing, Anya. I love that. I love that you guys get to see each other all the time now. Perhaps the Land of Stories was one of the stars that he was looking at, but it just hadn't been discovered yet. Wouldn't that be an uplifting discovery? That he and his sister were only separated by light years and not really dimensions? When Connor couldn't stand the solitude anymore, he asked himself, I wonder if Alex is awake. And Connor snuck downstairs and into the family room. There, a large golden mirror hung on the wall all to itself. It was the mirror that their grandmother had given them the last time they were together. It was the single object that allowed the twins to communicate between the worlds. He touched the golden frame and it started to shimmer and glow. It would glow for a few moments until Alex appeared in the mirror, and it would return to its normal shade if she didn't. Tonight, she didn't. Oh, she must be busy, Connor said to himself. She's always so busy. Hey, Amanda. When he first arrived home from his last adventure in the fairy tale world, Connor talked to his sister in the mirror every day for a couple of hours. She told him about their lessons from grandmother, the lessons that their grandmother was teaching her, and the magic that she was learning to use. He told her about his days at school and everything that he'd been taught, but her stories were always much more interesting. Unfortunately, as Alex became more and more involved with the fairy tale world, the twins' daily conversations happened less and less often. Sometimes more than a week passed before they even spoke. Sometimes Connor wondered if Alex even needed him anymore. He had always known that one day they would grow up and lead separate lives. He just never imagined that it would happen so soon. I know, my heart hurts for him too. Oof, late meetings are the worst. My heart hurts for him. He's just trying and he misses his sister. Connor touched the mirror again and waited, hoping that his sister would arrive this time. He didn't want to leave for Germany before having a chance to talk to her. I guess I'll have to tell her about it when I get back, Connor said, and he headed off to bed. Oh, heartbreaking. Just as he reached the top of the stairs, he could hear a small voice behind him say, Connor, are you there? Connor ran back down to the mirror and his heart jumped. His sister was standing in the mirror before him. She wore a headband made of white carnations and a sparkling dress the same color as the sky. She seemed cheerful, but Connor could tell that she was very tired. Hey, Alex, how are you? He asked. Oh, I'm great, Alex said with a big smile. She could tell that he could tell. Sorry. Hi. Hello. Hi. What's going on? Hello? You want more sleepies or you want to play? He could tell that she was just as excited to see him as he was excited to see her. You're up late. I couldn't sleep, Connor said. I guess I'm just too excited. And Alex scrunched up her forehead. Excited about what? Before Connor could say anything, Alex answered her own question. Oh, that's right. You're leaving for Germany tomorrow, aren't you? Yeah, Connor said. We're like later today. It's super duper late here. Oh, I completely forgot. I'm so sorry, Alex said, disappointed in herself for letting it slip her mind. Oh, no worries, Connor said. He couldn't care in the slightest. He was just happy to see her. I've been so busy with magic lessons and preparing for the silly fairy inaugural ball thing, Alex said, and she rubbed her eyes. I even forgot about our birthday. Isn't that crazy? Grandma and Mother Goose had a cake made, and I had to ask them what it was for. It was Connor's turn then to scrunch up his forehead. The fairy inaugural ball? What's that? Oh, it's this big party the Fairy Council is throwing to celebrate me joining the Fairy Council, Alex said as if it were just any old fact. Alex, that's amazing, Connor said. You're joining the Fairy Council already? You must be the youngest fairy that's ever joined. A proud and eager smile grew on her face. Yes, she said. Grandma thinks I'm ready. I'm not sure I agree with her, though. I still have so much to learn. Okay, you are Wiggle Worm. You want to play? You want to go play? Shall we go play? Okay, let's go to the mat. We'll go play. Hold on. Hold on. You want to come out? You want to get out of the wrap? Out, out, out. Out, out, out. 1, 2, out. Whee! Ha-boom. Ha-boom. Okay, Mommy's just going to get all our friends and her coffee, and I will come help you. Okay. We're gonna send our friends on the Tower of Terror here in a second. 1, 2, 3. Whee! Okay, let me move this for you so you have a little more space. to crawl around. You don't need this blanket in your way. Goodbye, blankie. I'll open this up, and you're good to go. Look at that. You have all that space now. All that space. There you go. Okay. Okay. Whee! And now. Hey, Lauren. Here we go. You know how protective Grandma is. She'd protect the ocean from a raindrop, Connor said. If she thinks you're ready, then you must really be ready. Yeah, I suppose so, Alex said, still very unsure of herself. It's a lot of responsibility, though. Being a part of the council means that I'm automatically a part of the Happily Ever After Assembly, which means that I have to give my input on so many decisions, which means that so many people and creatures are going to look to me for guidance. There wouldn't still be a Happily Ever After Assembly if it wasn't for you, Connor reminded her. That whole world is in your debt for defeating the Enchantress. I wouldn't worry about it. Alex looked into his eyes and smiled. Oh, thanks, Connor. His reassurance always meant more to her than anyone else. How is Grandma, by the way? Connor asked. Oh, she's good, Alex said. She misses you and Mom terribly, almost as much as I do, actually. She's taught me so much over the past couple months. Really, Connor, you'd be so impressed with some of the things that I can do now. Connor laughed. Alex, I've been impressed by you since we were in the womb. I'm pretty sure part of the uterus from you was much neater and more organized than my part of the uterus. Tootie toots. I have the Land of Magic, but I haven't started reading it. Would you read magic or stories first? There's an order to them. Brittany, if I were you, I would read them in order. So it's not Land of Magic. There's a series called the Tales of Magic, but those are meant to be read afterward. So yeah, it's so good. Perpetually Confused. They're chef's kiss. So I would read the entire Land of Stories series first. This is the third book in the Land of Stories series. This is A Grim Warning, which you can see down here. The first one is the Wishing Spell. So I'd start with the Wishing Spell, read all 6 of the Land of Stories, and then go and read the Tale of Magic series after. You could technically read the Tale of Magic series first, but I feel like reading them in the order he meant them to read would definitely it did something good for us when we read them that way. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Where was I? Alex laughed out loud against her will. She missed her brother's sense of humor, but she didn't want to encourage what he was saying. Really, Connor? Are you making a uterus joke? Come on. You're lucky Mom isn't awake to hear you say that, she said. Is Mom all right anyway? I always hear her sound so happy when she talks to me, but we both know what a great front she can put up. Connor nodded. Yeah, she's doing really good, actually. I mean, she misses you, of course, but I only caught her crying over a photo of us together once or twice since we got back. Bob makes her really happy. I almost forgotten what it was like to see her happy all the time. It's almost like Dad is around again. That's really great to hear, Alex said. Dad would have been so excited about your trip to Germany. He's probably, well, he would have gone with you if he was still alive, and I wish I could go. Connor looked at the clock. Yeah, speaking of which, I better get to bed soon. I leave for the airport in 3 hours. Alex's face fell. Oh, that's too bad. I've missed you so much. It's been great to catch up, she said. I've just been so busy. Sometimes a whole week will pass and I feel like it's only been a day or two. You're still happy though, right? He looked at her with a raised eyebrow. He would know if she was lying to him. Alex said, thinking about her lessons, all her tasks, and despite how overwhelmed and tired she was, she told him the truth. Honestly, I've never been happier. I mean, I get up every morning with a smile on my face. Living here is like waking up in a dream that never ends. The twins shared a smile, knowing that this was the truth. It was as hard as it was for him to be without her. Connor knew that Alex was where she belonged and she was having the time of her life. I wish there was a way that I could take you with me to Germany, Connor said. Yeah, me too, Alex said. But I doubt there's a story the Brothers Grimm wrote that we haven't heard from Dad or Grandma or... Wait a second. Her eyes fell to the bottom of the mirror. Is the right side of your mirror's frame loose? Connor inspected the corner of his mirror. No, but I think the left side is. Why? Can you gently pull it back and uncover the corner of the glass? Alex said, and she did the same on her side. Check, Connor said. Okay, good, Alex said. Now can you gently chip off a piece without cracking? Clink. Connor held up a piece of glass that was bigger than the palm of his hand. Like this? Clink. Alex broke off a piece of her own mirror. It was smaller and neater than the piece her brother had broken, but neither commented on that. Perfect. Now look into it. Alex looked down into hers, and Connor looked into a small piece of mirror in his hand, and he saw his sister's face staring up at him. That's amazing, he said with a laugh. Now I can keep you in my pocket the whole time. This is like a video chat. Terrific, Alex said. I've always wanted to see Europe. Okay, now go get some rest. You don't want to be exhausted before you get to go to Germany. All right. Good night, Alex, Connor said. I'll call you, or I don't know, I'll reflect to you as soon as I get off the plane. I'll look forward to it, Alex said. She was so pleased that she could be a part of his trip. Hey, I love you, Connor. I love you too, Alex, Connor said. And with that, the twins faded from each other's mirrors and returned to their separate lives. Connor climbed the stairs and placed his piece of mirror gently into the sticker-covered suitcase. He lay in bed and closed his eyes tightly, but he couldn't fall asleep. Seeing his sister had rejuvenated him completely, causing all the excitement about the following day to come rushing back. He laughed to himself as he laid there. I've ridden a magical goose, climbed a giant beanstalk, swum to an enchanted underwater cave on a sea turtle's back, and sailed on a flying ship across the skies of another dimension. Connor listed to himself, but I'm excited about getting on a plane tomorrow. Oh, brother. That's weird. That was cute, huh, sweetheart? Oh, she's very entertained. We should keep going. The next chapter is Chapter 2, The Hall of Dreams. Chapter 2, The Hall of Dreams. Alex woke up the next day wearing a big smile. She had woken up with a smile every day since she began living in the land of stories, but her smile was especially big today because she had talked to her brother the night before, and although her new home had brought her huge amounts of happiness, spending time with her family always made her feel better. The fairy palace was the most beautiful place that Alex had ever lived. She marveled at its beautiful golden pillars, archways, staircases, towers, and vast tropical gardens. However, one downside was that there were very few walls and ceilings in the fairy palace. It was always so pleasant outside, the fairies had no need for them. So every morning when the sun rose over the fairy kingdom, Alex had no choice but to rise with it. Luckily, she had been able to enchant a magnolia tree to grow its branches and blossoms around her room like drapes. This gave her an extra few minutes of rest every morning before she forced herself out of bed to start her day. Other than the enchanted drapes, Alex kept her chambers quite simple. She had a large comfy bed with white rose petals sheets, a few shelves filled to overcapacity with her favorite books, and a small wardrobe in the corner, which was practically unused thanks to a few magical tricks that her grandmother had taught her. Alex stepped out of bed, picked up her crystal wand from the nightstand, and waved it around her body. Her plain nightgown was instantly turned into a long, sparkling dress the color of the sky, and a headband of white carnations appeared on her head. It was her standard fairy uniform and resembled her grandmother's. Good morning, Mom, Connor, and Bob, Alex said to a photo framed on her nightstand. Good morning, Dad, she said to another one framed, this one of her late father. Alex took a deep breath and closed her eyes. All right, 3 wishes by noon. 3 wishes by noon, she said to herself. You can do this. You can do this. Every day at noon, Alex met her grandmother in her grandmother's chambers for a new lesson. Sometimes the lessons were magical, sometimes historical, sometimes philosophical, but whatever it was, the lesson was always highly enjoyable. And although it wasn't expected, Alex had recently taken it upon herself to grant at least 3 wishes every day to the villagers nearby using the little magic that she knew. It was very ambitious of the 14-year-old fairy in training, but Alex didn't feel like herself unless she was overachieving. Alex also found that the busier she kept, the less homesick she felt, and the less she thought about her home in the other world, the better her training went. She briskly walked out of her chambers, through the palace, and down its front steps. The shimmering gold walls and floor had taken some getting used to, but they didn't make her nearly as dizzy as they had the first week she lived in the palace. Alex passed Rosette, who was trimming luscious rose gardens just outside the palace. The roses and thorns were as big as her head. Good morning, Rosette, Alex said. Good morning, dear. Rosette waved at her as she walked by. Another early morning, I see. Oh, yes, ma'am, Alex said. 3 wishes by noon, that's my daily goal, and I haven't missed a day in 2 months. Good for you, dear. Keep up the good work. And Alex continued through the gardens till she heard loud snoring to her left and was startled. She looked at the ground and saw Mother Goose sleeping against a large boulder, clutching a silver flask. Lester was passed out beside her. Obviously, the two had had a late night in the gardens. "Good morning, Mother Goose," Alex said loudly enough to wake them both, and Mother Goose snorted, "Huh?" as she came to life. "Is it?" she said with one eye open, and Lester yawned and stretched his long neck. "Did you sleep outside all night?" Alex asked. "Well, the last thing I remember was taking a walk with Lester after dinner, and we stopped to sit for a moment," Mother Goose said. "Looks like we've been here ever since. Lester, you're a mattress fella. You're supposed to wake me up. I'm getting a bad reputation." And Lester rolled his eyes as if to say, well, that ship has sailed. "Why do we have to live in a morning kingdom?" Mother Goose said to the goose. "I swear, I'm going to move to the Eastern Kingdom. At least people there know how to sleep." Mother Goose climbed on top of Lester and took his reins, and they flew toward the fairy palace. Alex chuckled as she watched them fly away, and then she reminded herself of her schedule and proceeded with her walk. She reached the edge of the gardens and found herself in a large meadow. "Cornelius!" Alex called out, and she smacked the side of her leg loudly. "Here, boy! Where are you, Cornelius?" Across the... Not you. You're not Cornelius. You know that's not your name. You turned and looked at me like, huh? What? Your name isn't even close to Cornelius. Not even close. But you do have a piece of glitter on your face. You silly girl. Across the meadow, sipping from a stream, was a unicorn, but he was unlike the other unicorns in the kingdom. Cornelius was frumpy, with a big tummy that swung underneath him when he walked. A silver horn grew out of his head, but it had been broken in half during an accident when he was a baby. "Oh, there you are, Cornelius," Alex said, and Cornelius was glad to see her and trotted over so that she could pet his very large nose. I know you're shocked, right, Nikki? "Good morning, boy." Alex sensed something off about her horned friend today. He didn't have as much of a bounce in his step. "What's wrong, Cornelius? You seem sad." She's doing her trial showgirl makeup for Friday. That's right, she sure is. "Are you doing your makeup for Friday? Are you ready to party?" She smiled and said yes. Cornelius lowered his massive head and looked gloomily across the stream. Alex looked too and saw a herd of magnificent unicorns in the distance. Each was more beautiful than the next, with their long and lean bodies, perfect horns that glistened in the sunlight. "Oh, Cornelius," Alex said as she stroked his mane. "You've got to stop comparing yourself to the other unicorns." Cornelius nodded, but Alex could see the self-consciousness in his eyes. He was never good at keeping emotions to himself. He wore his heart on his hoof. "Do you know why I chose you to be my unicorn, Cornelius?" she asked him. "Uh-oh. You need help?" "Aw, honey. A little spit up? Just a little bit of spit up? That's okay. Let me clean it up. You're okay. Are you okay? Just a little bit? Yeah? Is it because you're trying to crawl too hard? Uh-huh. Trying to crawl? You're almost there. You're so close. Yeah, you're almost there. Oh my gosh, there's a bookmark in here. This is so funny. It's from Playa Provisions. It says, "Greetings from Playa Provisions. This is where my husband and I had our first date." I wonder if we were reading this book when he and I went on our first date, the first time we read it, and I put it in here. Oh, I wonder if that's what happened. That's so funny. I just found it. It's just sitting in here. That's silly, right, honey? Is that so silly? We've never taken you there, huh? It's not really baby friendly. We'll go one day. It's kid friendly, but not baby friendly. She does make the best noises, it's true. Do you want to say hi? Hi. She learned to clap this weekend and she can high five too. It's crazy. Can I have a high five? Can I have a high five? You're just gonna stare at it and leave me hanging now that I said you can do it? Oh, one finger. She went like this. I said, can I have a high five? And she went like this. What a cheat. One finger, that's all I get? Cheeky. Is that silly? Are you a silly girl? Her other new thing to do when she thinks about something is she goes like this. It's like she's like, "Ah, poor Yorick, I knew you well." No, you don't want that, honey. Yoki. Here. It could, Amanda. It's totally possible. Let's see. Do you know why I chose you to be my unicorn, Cornelius? She asked him, and the troubled unicorn opened his lips and showed off his large pearly white teeth. Okay, yes, I know you have a good smile, but that's not the only reason, she said. And really? When I said really, she went like this. Are you making silly sounds? Yeah? Okay. She's a baby dragon. Are you a baby dragon? Are you a baby dragon? Funny girl. I do. Oh, a dinosaur, dragon, dinosaur, whatever. I mean, take your pick, right? Roar! Roar! Cornelius stood on his back legs and he moved his front legs in tiny circles. Yes, Alex said, you're a good dancer too, but those aren't the things I'm talking about. I chose you because you're different from all the other unicorns in the fairy kingdom. Your horn may be broken and small, but your heart is big and strong. And Cornelius exhaled a gust of air and turned the other way. Alex made him blush and the pink was showing through his white hide. Are you all done for the day? Is that what you're trying to tell Mommy? Are you all done? How much more do we have of this chapter? Quite a bit. We might have to be all done. Let's see if she can. Do you want to crawl to Mommy? Are you gonna do it for real? Are you gonna actually crawl right now? Can you come here? Can you crawl right now? One hand. Two hands, but your legs and hands have to move in concert with one another. Wow, that was really good. She just got herself to sitting up from her tummy. That was pretty good, honey. I don't think I've ever seen you do it quite like that. She can go from like back to front and she can go from sitting to laying down, but I've never seen her go from her stomach to sitting up. Yeah, that was pretty good. Let's see if I can get her to laugh. She thinks that certain words are really funny. I'm gonna see if she'll laugh at this. Hey, sweetheart, are you so stinky? She smiled, but she didn't make an audible laugh. Are you stinky? Stinky? So stinky? Are you stinky, girl? Pew! Stinky! Well, you can't hear it this time. Sometimes she laughs audibly and sometimes she just grins because she thinks so. She's like grinning and rolling. Ah! Are you stinky? Oh, she's clapping. Oh, yay! You think that's funny? Is Mommy so funny? Yay! Funny Mommy! Can you blow a kiss? Can you say, mwah? Autumn thinks it's funny when he sneezes. Oh, really? That's funny. I wonder if she would. I don't know. I haven't like clocked it. Achoo! Achoo! Oh, she smiled. Is that so silly? Are you silly girl? She's a drooly girl. The internet name is like a lot of different things. Some people call her Jasmine. Some people call her Secret Baby. Gracelyn, which is an inside joke because I accidentally was given a blanket with the name Gracelyn on it, even though that's not her name, which makes it very funny. So yeah, people call her all different things. I try not to call her those things to her because I don't want her to think those are her names, but to you guys I do it. But to her I try to just like call her nicknames that we have for her so that she, like I'll call her baby or honey or sweetheart or whatever. But do you want to come over here? Come here. Pizza? Do you want to give Mommy one more minute to read, do you think? Yes, Secret Baby is the shortest, yeah. Peanut's great. We call her Little Nugget, too, to her face. Yeah, Jazzy and Jasmine is good. Yeah, it's true. The reason we picked Jasmine was because when she was in the womb, A Whole New World was her favorite song. Out here, she really loves Ariel and Cinderella. I caught you with my leg. You almost toppled, but Mommy caught you. Should we read a little more? What do you think? Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can do it. Are you ready to help me grant some wishes today? Alex asked him, and he neighed excitedly. Good, then let's get going. Cornelius bent down, and Alex hopped aboard his back. She waved her wand over his head and whispered into his ear, Take us to someone who needs us, Cornelius. That's right, she's a mermaid just like Ariel. That's right. You did it again. You're sitting up again. Hey, are you so proud of yourself? You did it. Oh, are you clapping for yourself? You're so good at that. That's a new skill, and you did a great job. Do you need help getting your leg untucked? It looks like it's mighty uncomfy. There you go. Is that better? Yeah, it's better. Cornelius's broken horn began to glow, and he jerked his head northwest as he started galloping at full speed to wherever it was the magic was leading him. Unicorns ran much faster than normal horses, and Alex had to hold onto her headband as they went. They zoomed through the trees, over a river and 2 streams, and they eventually found a path that led them into the charming kingdom. A small and simple village came into view in the distance, and Cornelius slowed down. He took Alex into the heart of the village. His horn was guiding them like a hound's nose. Many of the villagers stopped in their tracks as Alex and the unicorns drove by them. Hello, good people of the charming kingdom, Alex said, awkwardly waving at them. Don't mind us, we're just granting wishes. The villagers weren't as excited to see her as she was hoping they would be, and they went back to their daily errands. Cornelius came to a halt right in front of a tiny cottage with stick walls and a hay roof. Really? Are you sure this is the right place? Alex asked Cornelius, and he nodded confidently as his horn stopped glowing. Alex hopped down from her unicorn and walked to the door. She knocked lightly, but the sticks broke under her knuckles, leaving a small hole in the door. Oh my God, that's terrible. She just broke their door. Oh dear, Alex said. She was not off to a good start. Who's there? A faint voice asked from behind the door, and Alex looked through the hole as she had just made and saw a pair of eyes staring back at her. Hey, Avery. Hello, Alex said. Hi, my name is Alex, and I'm a fairy. Well, technically I'm a fairy in training, but I've come here today to grant wishes. My unicorn led me to this location. Does someone in this cottage have a wish that they'd like granted? The wrinkled eyes looked her up and down. Alex knew that her introduction was much of a work in progress as her magic was, but to her surprise, the door opened and an elderly woman appeared before her. Come in, the woman said, and she didn't seem thrilled to have company. Thank you, Alex said, and she took a step inside and looked around the small home. What's the matter, baby? What's the matter? You're back on your tummy. How did that happen? You were sitting a second ago. This is Mommy. Hello. Boop, boop, boop. Hello. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. It was dirty and dim and as frail on the inside as it was on the outside. Oh, you have a lovely home, Alex said politely. What can I help you with? These are my granddaughters. I'm assuming you've come to help them, the woman said. Had she not addressed them, Alex wouldn't have even seen the identical triplet girls standing against the wall. They were so dirty that they blended in to the rest of the house. I think I could do Elmo. Oh, nice to meet you, Alex said, but the girls wouldn't even shake her hand. They need nice clothes for school, the woman said, and she sat down at the table covered in fabric. We can't afford to buy new dresses, so I tried making them dresses, but my hands aren't what they used to be. Excuse me one moment. Did you knock that off? How did you do that? Are you so strong? Wow, strongest girl in the whole wide world. Strongest girl in the whole wide world. Well, I know. Okay, well, honey, I can't just let you knock it down. That's not how it works. You can't be upset that I put it back the way it's supposed to be. Honey, you can't be breaking stuff. That's not how it works. Okay. Sit here for 2 seconds, Mommy. We'll turn it off. Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, she's very mad at me. I ruined everything. How dare I? Oh, yes. How dare I? Okay. Mommy ruined everything. Mommy put the chair back the way the chair was meant to be used. A travesty. An absolute travesty. What a cruel, cruel, cruel mommy. Am I a cruel mommy? Huh. I clean. Rude. All right. We love you guys. Do you want to say bye-bye? Are you stinky?
Are you stinky? Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully we'll be able to have baby book club later. Bye, guys.